All right, well, I promise that isn't a clickbaity title. I really am going out to photograph some garbage. Garbage isn't something that I typically go out to photograph. I think if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I drive as far away from the city as I can usually get, put myself in some wilderness, and set myself up on a date with some epic light. But I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, find subjects that are a little more recognizable. This particular location gives me an opportunity to juxtapose the city with the trash that it produces. Well, I've just stopped for a little bit so I can show you where I am. If you're not from Toronto, you probably don't know about the Leslie Street Spit. Well, here it is. It is a 7-kilometer long, gigantic piece of land that's now a public park, but is still actively being dumped in. What are they dumping? Well, they're dumping construction materials, buildings that have been torn down, fill from building subways and other sort of big dig projects, and they're still filling this in. Although it's a public park, now called Tommy Thompson Park, it's closed during the weekdays as, you know, dump trucks drive up and down it to dump at the end of the Leslie Street Spit, creating more of this park. And so as you can see, all along the shoreline is concrete, rebar, bricks, all sorts of other waste. Today this is going to make for an interesting subject for me because I'm going to show the story of the creation of the city that I live in and all of the things that needed to get pulled out of the ground, get pulled out of the previous generations in order for it to exist in its current state. Now, don't get me wrong, they've done a very, very nice job with this park. Other than being home to, you know, many species of birds that you won't find in the city, and a great place to fish, a great place for boating. When you walk just on the paths that they have, it really does just look like a regular park, but it is hard to hide exactly what it is. Well, I made it after a little bit of walking, and now I'm just checking out the shoreline to find exactly what I'm looking for in terms of foreground. I'll give you an example. This is a brick. Well, at least it used to be a piece of a brick that's been completely weathered down by the water. And I'm trying to find something that's going to give me, you know, a whole collection of those. But what I also want is some of the new stuff, some of the concrete and rebar, and have that a little bit in the foreground. I can tell a story, right, of like the bricks and then the rebar and the concrete and now the existing city that's there now. So I'm just going to continue my look around, see exactly what I can find. All right, just a quick update. It's crazy windy out here, and light is starting to go down. I'm really struggling to find the exact foreground interest I had in mind, because what I was hoping for was to get a little bit of the sort of water coming across these bricks and things. I think I can still get that, but I'm going to come up on the shore a little bit. I will say that I don't really know what I expected, but this is quite a garbage dump. There's all sorts of different things, from like belts and pieces of plastic and metal and all sorts of real crap everywhere. So I'm not particularly interested in having a seat. Normally I would position my phone behind the back of the camera so that you could see exactly what I'm doing with the settings, but as I mentioned, I'm not going to go anywhere near this ground here. So what I'm actually going to do is I've just opened up the camera remote app. Now, I think Sony comes, you know, with this remote app. I think every modern camera comes with this remote app. And every once in a while, I will use it in situations like this when I can't really get a good view of the monitor and I can't look through the viewfinder, and I just want to visualize the image a little bit better. So I've set up what I thought was the right composition. I've got, you know, the CN tower kind of off to the left-hand side here, and then a bunch of bricks, a little collection of nice weathered bricks off to the right. And I don't have that story in the middle of the concrete, but I do think that I'm going to be able to slow down this water a little bit, maybe with an ND filter, and it should be able to give you the idea that time has sort of passed and weathered these bricks, and you know, maybe that'll be the story that I'm trying to tell. So I'm going to do that. Right now I've come all the way down to f18. I'm not really too worried about diffraction, and I just want to be able to get this in one shot. So I've actually not really that wide open because the city's pretty far in the background. I think looks like I'm about 24, 25 millimeter, and if I go down to f18, focus the way that I want to, I should be able to get that with everything that I need to kind of in focus in the way that I want. But I'll still probably get an image of the foreground and then a background one just in case. All right, it's just not as slow as I want it to be, so I'm going to pop on another ND filter. I can just stack these without really worrying about anything. All right, I'll go for another one, this time at 8 seconds, see what I get there. All right, well, I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to actually just take the shutter speed up to 10 seconds and see where we go from there. I just want a little bit more exposure on the right side here. Well, might take a few more images, but I think it's time to get out of here before the sun goes down and this place becomes super creepy. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.